Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up test in 3, 2, go. And what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Now, you know I always do some follow-up speed tests after these phones have been out for a few months. I also will rerun them after maybe a future larger software update. But I want to see where they're standing now that the iPhone's had a few updates. The Samsung turning on a bit quicker here over this iPhone 17 Pro Max. Samsung is actually, these are pretty good sales going on right now for Black Friday. Some of them are still going since Black Friday is already over. They're kind of still going on a bit here for the S25 Ultra in certain places. So once again, you usually get discounts around the holiday season. Now with Apple, you're kind of paying the full price still here. You do get some gift cards with certain purchases, but right now, this is turning on quicker, and this phone is much older than that of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. All right, guys, so everything is closed out for both phones. Now, we are running the latest version of iOS on here, which is going to be the iOS 26.1 over here, and we are still waiting on 26.2. Over here, this just got the, well, it didn't get the December patch, but it recently got the November patch a few weeks back. So this thing is on the November security patch. So they're way up to date. All the applications are up to date. So you've seen everything is closed out. Let's start with calendar. And you can see the Samsung still flying open a bit faster. Let's swipe up out of there. We're going to go into clock, and that's a little faster for the Samsung phone. Let's go over to world clock. We'll go over here to alarms, stopwatch, and timers. And you could see no substantial issue. Let's go into calculator. That was way faster on a Samsung. Let's swipe up out of there. We're going to go into Play Store, App Store. Snappier on the Samsung phone over there. We'll hit games. And I think that was the iPhone. And again, if I miss any of these, call me out on that. Tell me which one it was. I'm trying to look through the camera, make sure everything's in focus. Let's go into ChatGPT. And that was faster on the right. We'll swipe up out of there. We're going to go into Gemini. Now we're on Gemini 3. I don't think we had Gemini 3 on the last speed test we did. Faster on the Samsung though. Go to Grok. And that was pretty much the same, although that was popping with that pop-up over there. Go to Copilot. Pretty much the identical performance there on both. Swipe them out of there. You can actually see that the animations kind of look the same as well. Let's go into X on both phones. And that was faster on the Samsung. X is usually faster on the Samsung devices in my speed tests, but once you start getting into submenus, it doesn't seem to be a real big issue over here. So if we just kind of like swipe through things, just they kind of scroll at about the same clip in here, a little bit faster scrolling there on the Samsung still, but generally I don't see a substantial difference once you're actually in application. Faster there on the right. We'll hit over here. We'll click this post. You can see pinch of zoom about the same. We'll go back over here. Kind of scroll through here. You can see not a big difference when you're actually in application. Let's go into Groupon. Faster there on the right. I'm still seeing though that the iPhone is a bit slower to launch things. The Samsung still is that snappier feel with the S25 Ultra, at least on animation. So they did a really good job with the One UI 8. I'm excited to see what they're going to do next for One UI. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. And I think because this phone, this was faster on the right, is already faster than the 17 Pro Max and animations and certain apps still launch quicker, I think Samsung's only going to further extend their lead with the S26 Ultra. So I'm excited for that device. You'll see right here, faster on the left. And once you're in the game, I still prefer the Samsung display. It does have a punch hole and it does have less of an obtrusion and it kind of looks more vibrant to me. So I tend to prefer an anti-glare, even though the iPhone 17 Pro Max also has an anti-glare. It looks better on the Samsung. So for me, out of displays, I think the Samsung is better. And there was a little weird look right there coming out of RTS. Let's go into Free Fire on both. And you're going to see that Free Fire is launching first here on the right. So I didn't expect this. I thought the newer iPhone was going to launch everything faster, and there it comes, the iPhone 17 Pro Max. We're going to go here into Call of Duty. We'll see what happens here. And Samsung once again in a lead. But will it get to the home screen first? And pretty much catching up there now. Apple loads that first. So Apple actually caught up and took the victory. Now, when you're actually in the game, I find these both to be pretty phenomenal. The thing is, though, is that the iPhone actually tends to have slightly better thermals than the Samsung, even though the Samsung does have vapor chamber. The iPhone tends to have better thermals. It just doesn't get as warm under heavy use. Let's go into PUBG Mobile. That's what I've been noticing. But still, the iPhone also has a little bit better battery life. But still, the Samsung still performs really good. So I don't think that, it's enough of a deciding factor. But if you do game a lot, I probably would steer towards the iPhone just for its better thermals. Let's kind of scroll through here. Both of them pushing them under extreme loads, though, probably will cause some throttling at the max limit. But you would have to be gaming really hardcore games, gaming long sessions on the graphically most demanding games to ever experience that, which would you probably would want a gaming phone at that point. But both of these tend to kind of give you that same high-end gaming experience. But Apple's showing that it's quicker there under Destiny Rising. So this was actually going to get delayed because that pop-up just happened. But once you're actually in game, the actual graphical performance is so good, and this game has near PC level graphics on here. So this thing looks crazy good on both phones. Let's go ahead and swipe up out of here. And we're going to go into 3D Mark for both devices. So let's go into 3D Mark. That was faster on the left. And we'll swipe up out of there and go to Speed Test Net. Faster on the right. InShot. Faster on the right. Swipe up out of there. We're going to Geekbench 6. Faster on the right. So I think Samsung actually was launching more applications, what appeared to be snappier. However, the iPhone did launch a couple of the more graphically demanding games a little bit faster, so it could be technically quicker. But let's go ahead and take a look at how they look in RAM management now to see how these perform at this time. Now, unlike before, in this test, I want to go ahead and kind of go through this as fast as I kind of can here to see if we can kind of choke them up or see if we get any real issue. So with the iPhone, okay, right there, the tap was a little bit, I think I tapped it too fast or something. So that animation, to me, you can see it doesn't have it ready to go before you get in, kind of like the processing you'll find on a OnePlus 15, for example, but it still looks very smooth and tends to hold it very well. But the iPhone did have a little bit of a issue when, if you're going really fast, where it can kind of fly out a little bit slower than I would like. Other than that, everything seemed to be pretty buttery smooth there. And if you are using this to go ahead and split, into different applications, well, you can't split screen, but you know what I mean, like jump in between different applications, they're going to hold them pretty well. So it's not a big issue. I do like that about that phone. It feels like a beast in that respect. But how does the Samsung do? This does have 12 gigabytes of RAM, as does the iPhone. You can see very nice visual animations. And so far, to me, this is looking a little bit better than the iPhone, but there's one issue. I don't know why, but some of them blink. Like when you go into the application, that didn't look too good either on Copilot. A little bit of a blink there on Gemini. And we'll go into calculator, clock, and calendar. The Samsung animations, to me, look a little bit more smooth overall, this nonlinear effect. At the same time, though, the iPhone still looks really smooth as well. So we do have pretty close overall, but I do think Samsung might have done better in that, like fast movements. You can see right here, they seem to fly on really nicely here on the iPhone. There is no blinking effect here, but I can't pull from the bottom there when I'm in a landscape mode, which is kind of messing me up. But overall, they don't seem to have much in the way of a huge difference here in the RAM management. So I think either way you go, you're going to be good. The good thing about the Samsung phone, though, is that you can take advantage of its split screen mode. So you can see with the Samsung phone, you can actually have multi applications open at one time. You can actually drag them down like that. And with this large display, there is enough space to go ahead and do such a thing should you so please. And it does actually have enough power to actually run a benchmark at the same time while playing a game, while doing a calculation. And on top of that, you could still be able to go over here and run a Wi-Fi speed test all at the same time. This is insane power for a smartphone. If you lower the DPI in developer options, you could actually have enough space to do computing tasks right there on the phone. And that's kind of like what I like about the Samsung phone when it comes to multitasking. However, this is pretty much available on most Android phones, the ability to split screen. You can't do anything like this on the iPhone. You can only go one app at a time. So I think it's kind of wasting its screen size and power abilities on the iPhone because of this one simple thing. And you could see even under that load, the Samsung is still doing a really fantastic job. But with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the benchmark scores. All right, and our final scores are in, and you could see that we do actually have a pretty substantial boost on the iPhone for the single core and nearly 1,000 points on that multi-core score as well. So that would lead you to believe that you're getting significantly more power in the iPhone. And while that might be true according to the Geekbench, you've seen in the real world app test and the ability to do all the split screen we were doing, are you actually going to be able to take advantage of that power is the real question. Let me know your thoughts on it down below. Do you think the iPhone, even with its better scores, is the more powerful phone in reality day to day? Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's go ahead and run a Wildlife Extreme test really quickly here, and I'll be back with their final scores. So the final scores for Wildlife Extreme are in, and the iPhone just edges the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, 5795 versus 5134, 30 FPS on the right, 34 on the left, scoring better than 93% of devices on the market, 94 on the left. Now I'm sure if I run these with the phones being super cool to the touch at the very beginning, after turning them on, they might get even higher scores. But at the end of the day, these are still performing better than almost the entire market, besides maybe 5 to 6% of devices out there. So either way you go, you're probably not going to notice a crazy amount of difference. But I will say that the Samsung does get a little bit warmer to the touch than the iPhone. That's probably due to the aluminum versus titanium on here. Also, they did really well and focus mostly on that with the iPhone, as we already had a vapor chamber on the right, but their core focus on the 17 Pro Max was keeping it cool to the touch, and it's pretty noticeable. But yeah, the iPhone's going to win it out in both benchmarks. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the Wi-Fi speed test. We'll start here on the left with the iPhone, and this has been really pretty a strong area this year for me, has been the Wi-Fi performance connectivity. The iPhone has really been impressing in this department, and their Apple modems as well. Probably going to get even better down the line, and eventually I think they're going to go all Apple modems in the future. But for now, still using the Qualcomm stuff, which is very, very good. You'll see 861 down, 42 up. But will the Samsung take the lead? It looks like it's pulling ahead, and yes, it does. It pulls ahead. I am actually connected to my Wi-Fi 7 network, and you could see it's just absolutely crushing right here in this Wi-Fi 7 performance test. So Samsung going to take the W on this one, and once again, the Samsung impressing in this area of connectivity with Wi-Fi. Definitely very strong. Same server, so you can probably pull in a bit faster Wi-Fi performance on the Samsung device in the real world. I also found a 5G to always be pretty strong on both of these, but the Samsung device tends to really do very, very good connectivity when it comes to network stuff. So I really do have to give it that one on the right. And let's go ahead and launch the cameras just to see what we can get here. I don't think it's going to change too much from speed test 1 hold on, that one was on the wrong side. Let's go ahead and do this again. I don't think it's going to change too much though, because yeah, the iPhone tends to launch faster and tends to process that photo a little bit quicker. We'll do it again. 3, 2, go. Yep, the iPhone is the faster launching phone. It also, to me, has the faster shutter speed as well. But they're not different enough that it's going to make you miss a photo or anything like that. They are pretty different in their actual camera setup, though, but that's going to be reserved for a different video. At the end of the day, a couple months later, this iPhone, to me, actually, a few applications and a few weird animations, I still think I'm waiting for the next major update. This phone is running, the battery is not doing as good as when I first got it, so I'm waiting for the next dot release. A couple animations need to be tweaked, and I think Apple's core focus should be on polishing up the software next year, as the phone hardware is very good, but it's not always as consistent as I would like. The Samsung's pretty consistent, but they need to work on that blinking when I'm relaunching the apps. I don't know what's up with that blinking stuff, and they can improve thermals again, as they already had really good thermals here, but it could get even better as Apple's focus was there, so why not just improve thermals? Performance still strong for the 8 Elite for sure. So anyway, thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know which one you would pick this holiday season down below in the comments. I'll catch you on the next episode. Direct comparison, speed test battle. You know the drill. Be sure to be well. Nick here, and peace.